Hey, there you are. Welcome back, episode 33. Today, my guest is Montana singer-songwriter Brian Holwerda. Brian is putting out some new music in a few weeks, the Montana Sessions. I will link that below. Also, definitely check out Brian's YouTube and Instagram pages. He does some fantastic tutorials. I'll also link those below. This was a great conversation. Please like, please subscribe. Let's get into it. Hey, what is up, Brian? Thank you for joining the club. How are you?
I'm doing great. I got my cup of coffee. Great to be here. Finally meeting you more in person, virtually, but thanks for the flexibility. Got my cup of coffee. I'm ready to go.
Let's do it. Yeah, man, I'm really excited to talk to you. I feel we have chatted for a long time. I feel like I kind of know you, but it is great to talk to you in person for the first time. And I'm trying to remember, like, I don't even remember how we connected, but you've been following along this project of mine from the beginning. So I
Yeah,
appreciate your support on that.
sure.
And yeah, it's awesome to finally talk to you.
Yeah,
So
man.
you're in Montana, right? You've been playing guitar for a long time.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I've been enjoying following you on both YouTube and Instagram over the past 6 months is, kind of watching you put this new music together that you just released.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, thanks. And been doing the Instagram thing for I guess a year or two to kind of just grow that and just try to share guitar licks, but also have always been doing my own music, art, just kind of what I do on the side before that is just writing songs, recording them. And I got a new batch coming out. The first single is dropping February 13th,
Nice.
is the official release date, but we have kind of teased like a lyric video that's up on YouTube, as well as I do have kind of a pre-release free download live on my website. So I've got that already in the hands of kind of all my mailing list subscribers, so they have it in hand. So it's kind of out there floating around, but the official drop on streaming will be February 13th.
Awesome, awesome. Well, congrats on that. I will definitely
Thanks,
link
man.
those below in the notes. But tell
Yeah,
me
that'd be
about these
awesome.
songs. Is there anything, what brought these songs about? I love what I've heard. I think I've heard all of them, but tell me about the
Yeah,
impetus of writing them.
yeah, thank you. And I think I sent you all
Yeah.
4 or 5, and if I didn't, I'll send you the link after this. But it was really moved here from Nashville, and maybe we'll get into that. But really inspired by the surroundings, just being in Montana. I live out here, kind of out in the woods, in the middle of nowhere. I live on a ranch. We can talk about that too. But
Yeah.
just inspired by the natural surroundings, the peace and quiet, just kind of like slowing down. That was a big part of the move out here. I have family in Montana, and was just frankly tired of living in a city and too much stimulation and noise, and wanted to be peace and quiet. We were always
Yeah.
visiting Montana, and really just started writing songs while I was in Nashville. A lot of my writing started to become about leaving Nashville, which was kind of weird. So I was writing songs about Montana in Nashville, and then I moved to Montana and then flew back to Nashville to record them. So it's kind of a strange train of events. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
funny.
I've been recording with my buddy Ben Simonetti, who's a great old friend and producer. He's had a crazy story too, where he works very closely with Zach Brown now. He's kind of Zach Brown's in that camp as his kind of main co-writer and producer, and he's got a great home studio set up. So it's kind of fun to fly out there. We have access to all this really cool gear
Yeah.
at Ben's house, and kind of some of Zach Brown's guitars and fun stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like for a guitar nerd like me and like you, it's like being in a candy store.
Yeah, totally. It sounds amazing. Well, the songs are terrific, and I'm not surprised to hear that they were inspired by kind of the natural landscape of Montana. I got some sort of like some Neil Young vibes
Yeah,
in the
man.
way that he sings sort of about like he's sort of inspired by nature as well.
Yeah,
So they
man.
sound really great. I wish you
And
the
kind of
best of
like
luck.
and touching on your art too. I'm a big fan of your art. So similar, I'm drawn to your art because it's kind of inspired by the natural landscapes and what I see
Yeah,
behind you right now, the
yeah,
ocean. I really like that. The one I was checking out this morning, the inspired by a river, and it was like little dremeled out dots that formed
yeah,
a natural landscape. So I think
yeah,
very similar. There's some through lines in that where musically, I think I'm doing a similar thing to what you're doing with your
yeah,
art. You're just kind of
yeah.
inspired by what's around us.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and nothing better to be inspired by than Mother Nature.
Exactly, man. Yeah, and Neil is kind of a king king to me, King Neil. He's one of the best. So I've seen him live a couple of times, and he's just great, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's such a unique force in music, and I love him.
I love him too. He's amazing. So tell me let's go back to the beginning. Tell me, when did you start playing guitar?
Yeah, man. So my dad, I have to give credit to my dad, Jim, grew up in a musical household in the Bay Area, very supportive musical parents. He put a guitar in my room, I think when I was, 8 or 10, and it just kind of sat there. I think he kind of long game, just waited for me to show interest, but he put an acoustic guitar in my room, and then finally I said, hey, Dad, show me this, and then it was kind of off to the races. So
Yeah.
he went to Stanford and was kind of involved in that scene with like Griffin Music in Palo Alto, where like Jack Tuttle, Molly Tuttle's dad, was a teacher there, and it's kind of a famous acoustic roots
Yeah.
kind of community there. So Griffin Music in Palo Alto. That's this guild behind me is my dad's guild. So the one I play in a lot of my videos is this
Yeah. Yeah.
66 guild. It's got the Brazilian rosewood on the back, and he shaved out the struts, so it's more of a boomer now. So a lot of
that's cool.
the guilds can be dark sounding, and now this thing is kind of a closet Martin killer
nice.
in some ways. It's cross between kind of a Gibson and a Martin in a lot of ways, but that's kind of my go-to when I'm just sitting around strumming is my dad's old guitar. But he
that's so
showed
cool.
me begrudgingly a lot of the James Taylor and Paul Simon stuff that I didn't want to learn at the time, but I'm so grateful now that
Yeah.
he took the time to show me. I wanted to learn Metallica songs and Pantera songs, and he said, here's here's Fire and Rain, why don't you learn
Yeah.
that? So it worked out. I'm glad he did. So the finger style stuff, which I know you're into as well, a lot of the finger picking, such a huge fan of Paul Simon, James Taylor,
Yeah.
and all that classic stuff, classic acoustic kind of 70s era
Yep.
music was in the household, and then started playing in bands. So just kind of the age-old story of starting to play with buddies in a garage and turn the amps up and kind of
Yeah.
figure it out. And it was fun. So then, skipping ahead, was always kind of playing in bands, other people's bands, as more of a sideman, and then my own bands where it was songs I had started writing and singing as well as playing guitar. So moved to San Diego, California for school. So it was kind of a beach bum doing that thing. That's where I met my wife.
Oh, nice.
So we connected down there and lived there for about 10 years, and was playing in a band called Blackout Party down there, kind of a funny name, but we were, I think, in that San Diego music scene, had some momentum going. We had a couple San Diego Music Awards, and
nice.
we're getting some songs in TV and film, and we actually have a song in Super Troopers 2 randomly, so that's kind of our claim to fame. So if you listen to, I think it's the car chase in Super Troopers 2, you'll hear one of my old band songs.
So cool. That's awesome.
It's random, yeah. It's just funny how that stuff happens. But we flew out to Nashville to record what was our second record at the time, and it was great. We put it out on vinyl, and then kind of just around that time, opportunity arose for work for me in Nashville, and I love Nashville, great town, really attracted to the music business hub being
Yeah.
there, and I was, especially at that time, more interested in connecting with my buddy Ben, who lives out there, doing more writing, maybe writing for other people. So my wife and I just made the jump. We moved. I've always worked at hotels and restaurants kind of as my day job.
Yeah.
And I was working at the Omni Hotel in downtown Nashville.
I've stayed there.
You stayed there. Okay. So yeah.
You may have been there when I was there.
Yeah, I probably checked you in. So it was so it's connected to the Country Music Hall of Fame. You're right
Yeah.
across the street from all this cool musical activity. So even though it's quote unquote a day job, my job was unique, where I was kind of the one in charge of all the VIP sort of, if a big music celebrity is checking in, I kind of had to detail their stay and all that. So it was fun. It was a day job that also kind of scratched that itch of being involved in music in some ways. Connected to the Country Music Hall of Fame was awesome. Met a ton of great people, and then just found ourselves like I said, kind of tired of the rat race or just being in such a city environment. And we were always traveling to Montana, always coming here to visit family. They live on 160 acres out in Trout Creek, Thompson Falls, just peace and quiet. So
Yeah.
you really, every time I would come here, I would feel my blood pressure drop. Like, okay, this is it. I need to be here.
Yeah.
My wife obviously feels the same. So I think one night I found myself saying, I wish there was a hotel out in the woods in Montana. And I think I Googled that, hotel out in the woods in Montana, and found this ranch where we are right now, Paws Up,
Yeah.
which is an amazing place, which a ton more musical opportunities out here than I was expecting as well, with kind of the Fender partnership that we've put into place and some of these other musicians that we've booked out here. It's been awesome.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about that, the ranch and its affiliation with Fender.
Yeah, man. So it's a 37,000 acre working cattle ranch. So that's big, right? 37,000. It's hard to fathom that number. It's 56 square miles.
Wow.
And what always puts it in perspective for me is we're on the Blackfoot River, which is a river runs through it. That book and movie.
Yeah.
It's based on this stretch of river here. So famous trout fishing. It's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
If I peek, I can see it out back right here. It's good fishing right down there.
That is amazing. You do a lot of fly fishing and stuff?
Yeah, we do. I'm not a huge expert angler, but I mean, when you live right here, kind of our day off, we're not going anywhere. We're going to walk down to the river with a couple of cold beers and the kids, and that's where we're going to hang out. It's pretty awesome.
That sounds amazing, man. Life is too short not to be where you want to be.
Exactly. So 37,000 acres, we have 10 miles of this river flowing through property. So that's kind of how expansive it is. So it's almost like its own little national park out here, which has been awesome. So much wild space to explore. And for the guests too that come here, they're kind of coming out here to get away from the rat race and their busy lives too. So it's nice to be able to provide that. My role here, I oversee what we call the glamping camps. So we have 6 of these little 6-tent mini camps where guests stay, and we have a butler making them drinks and making them s'mores, and a private chef come out and cooking them a meal on the river. So it's a really cool kind of like adventure tourism, outdoor like ecotourism experience where they're getting a high level of service out in the woods. It's really cool.
That's amazing. Well, I'll definitely link that below as well.
Sure.
So, and then tell me more about the Fender thing with that.
Yeah. So our managing director, Steve, who's also my neighbor out here, great guy. For years, we've talked about, all these musicians that we book out here, and we've had some big names, play the resort. But we always were kind of daydreaming, man, it would be really neat to have a partnership with, someone like Fender, just throwing a big name out there. But turns out, just through some connections and reaching out, they were also interested. And Billy at Fender has become a buddy, Billy Siegel. He's great.
Yeah.
I think they have 2 headquarters, LA and Arizona. They just opened their new headquarters in Arizona. But Billy flew out here with his family and checked it out. And we kind of started brainstorming, and he saw the vision too of, especially at this level of hospitality, the caliber of guests that are out here. They don't want a dusty guitar that someone pulls out from behind a front desk. They want a nice guitar that's more experiential. So when a guest asks, what they call the front desk and say, hey, do you have a guitar I could use? We want to give them something that's more of a wow. So I think we have 8 or 10 different Fenders on property, a couple hand-wired tube amps, all this stuff. So if a guest calls and does say, hey, do you have a guitar? I want to do some strumming on my porch. It's more of which model would you like? I'm going to show up with a menu of guitars and say, hey, do you want the acoustic? Do you want a vintage Strat with a hand-wired champ? What do you want? Let's talk about it. So it's pretty cool.
That is amazing. That is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do they get played a lot? Do your guests ask for the guitars a lot?
They do. It's actually crazy. I'm surprised how many guests are musical. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Everyone loves music, but a lot of our guests play. We've had some well-known guests too. I'm not going to share any names, but we do get a lot of very A-list type of guests coming out here that are in the music industry and whatnot, and they're maybe interested in playing the guitars too. I've had some families come out who are very musical, and they say, hey, we want to jam as a family. So I'll bring down 5 or 6 guitars and a couple amps, and they set up a whole almost like a whole performance in their glamping camp. So it's pretty neat.
That sounds like out of this world, man. That sounds so cool.
It's pretty. We'll get you out here. We'll do some picking on the river one of these days.
All right. I gotta get practicing then.
Yeah, man. So the Fender partnership it's just been good. Great people. It's definitely just kind of a natural fit for what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to have some cool, unique guitars in the hands of our guests, and it just really. The idea behind it was to kind of create a wow moment for the guests, and to kind of scratch that itch of, hey, let's, how cool can we make this thing, and let's go big.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you're doing a good job. So do you play a lot? Like tell me about your day to day. Are you playing out at all? Do you play for your guests? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I have before. There's been a few guests who, especially if a mother and father tell me that their son or daughter is learning, I might sit down and jam with them and kind of encourage them, or even try to get like a little family jam going. There's been a few guests that we've done more of like a performance for. Still organic, but it's not something I'm doing every day. But we do have one family that comes back year after year, and I'll put together like a little bluegrass band for them, like on their last dinner last summer when they came. We showed up with a couple guitar players, a fiddle, a dobro, and kind of did a longer jam for them while they were eating dinner. That was pretty fun.
That sounds amazing. I mean, what a cool way to like incorporate your passion into your business and have it all sort of be together. That's amazing.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not just sitting around playing guitar all day, but it's nice to be able to have that kind of interwoven with your day job. I know a lot of times having a day job gets a bad rap, but I love it. I love having kind of the separation where I'm not having to scratch away and take gigs that I don't want just to pay the bills and wonder how am I going to feed my family. This is a fun job. I get to work in this beautiful environment and know that that's covered. And now for, you asked what am I doing? How am I playing? It allows me to be involved, I feel like, in stuff just that I want to be involved in, not taking gigs that are soul sucking or you don't want to be there. We've all taken those gigs where you're just, it's a Tuesday night at 11 p.m. and you'd rather be in bed. So I've got my weekly bluegrass jam. It's not mine, but I'm involved in it with some great players in the area. This area in Montana, Colorado, Idaho, a great bluegrass scene. Great kind of old time music, acoustic pickers. So they really come out of the woodwork. There's a couple really heavy players that just drive down out of the hills every Wednesday to this bluegrass jam, and I've learned a lot just from sitting in with them for a couple of years. But it's every Wednesday at a little bar called the Potomac Bar. It's great. It's a gas station with a bar attached to it, with a casino attached to it. So it's a casino, gas station, bar with a bluegrass jam.
You got all the bases covered. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So if you come,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, when you visit, make sure you're here on a Wednesday so you can come to the jam.
Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like my kind of scene right there. I would love to be hanging out for that. That sounds great.
Exactly.
When did you start playing bluegrass stuff?
Yeah, man. It was a couple of years ago. I got into it more heavy kind of at the tail end of San Diego. Always been a huge, getting into like not bluegrass, but like the Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark, that type of stuff. Obviously, Neil is kind of a gateway drug into some of that music, and even into like Grateful Dead and like Jerry and kind of the ties to bluegrass and some of those records that are more acoustic focused. It all kind of led towards Tony Rice and all those, Doc Watson. I think my dad saw Doc Watson play in a cafeteria at Stanford. So like some of these stories that kept coming up from even my dad led back to bluegrass. So I started taking lessons because I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure out the patterns. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos, but I took some lessons from, do you know Jake Workman? You know who he is?
I definitely know the name. Yeah, I think I probably follow him. Yeah.
He's arguably, I don't want to say he's the best, but you could easily say he's one of the heaviest players in the world. He's
Yeah.
a bad dude, and he was in Ricky Skaggs' band
Okay.
for a long time, and now I think he's just teaching full time.
Yeah.
But he's a callings artist and just a heavy picker. So I took a few lessons from him in Nashville that kind of like unlocked a few things. It was really 2 or 3 lessons, and it was like, oh, okay, I see what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I'm anywhere near him, but some of the patterns and some of how to connect up
Yeah.
the neck started making a little bit more sense. And then just a couple other names to shout out on YouTube. Aaron Jackson is awesome. Jaxon. He's got a paid course, but also a lot of free materials on YouTube. So I'm a big fan of him. And then Alex Graff. I think he's in Colorado. He's got a ton of stuff. So I watch a lot of these guys and pick up on different tips and tricks and just kind of keep it moving. I try to keep learning all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're all here to do, is just keep moving forward and keep progressing. I'm a big fan of your YouTube videos and your Instagram videos. You do a great
Thanks, man.
job of, I actually love how you,
Maybe. I don't,
what's that?
maybe. They're not very professional, but I try to keep it very organic and natural.
And that's what I like, is they sort of like, it's real. I love how you show us what guitar you're playing every time, but then you really break it down in a nice way. Like I've learned a number of licks
Really?
from you, like on
That's
that
awesome.
D chord. So just keep it up, man. I love that stuff.
You talk about this one where you're playing it this way instead of this way.
Yeah, that kind of blew me away to kind of get that first fret involved. That sounds nasty, as you like to say.
It sounds nasty. And it is like that's one of those tips and tricks. When I first saw that, it was like, oh, I don't have to play it like this. I can access those frets, and you can play a lot of those really swampy sounding licks that you hear people play, but you kind of don't know how are they doing that.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Kind of breaks the mystery a little bit. Well, if you don't mind, grab that guitar again, or grab whatever guitar again. I would love if you played one of your newer tunes, if you're up for that. Not to put you on the spot, but
On the spot. Yeah, let me. I keep these things tuned a full step down to basically standard tuning D, so I'll capo up here.
okay.
So this is the one that's up for a free download on my website right now. This is the one that's kind of a teaser lyric video on YouTube, so I'll play that one. Makes sense.
Yep.
Called Darkwing Bird. I'll play you a couple verses and a chorus.
Sounds good.
I was lost in a memory, head up in the clouds, body battered and broken, with old photographs all around. I saw your silhouette there,
That sounds so good.
Thanks,
Your
man.
voice is great. I love your voice.
Thank
Have
you,
you
man.
had to like work through that? Like, have you always felt like you're a strong singer? Tell me a little bit about that.
You know, I still kind of don't feel like I'm a strong singer. I just kind of, honestly, I just kind of go for it. But I've
Yeah,
had, I guess, enough reps now playing in bands and things where I feel more confident. Honestly, my favorite thing in the world is to be a sideman. My dream gig would be to be playing a little lead guitar and hitting harmonies all day. That's my
yeah,
wheelhouse. I love singing harmony the most, but it's more just something I've had to do because I do write songs, so it's kind of that's the vehicle where well I'm going to sing them now.
yeah.
But I think everyone feels a little self-conscious about their own voice. It's tough to
Yeah.
just get out there and do it. But I think bluegrass has helped because that style of singing is so just pure and just laser focused on hitting those harmonies.
Yep.
So I think being at the jam and singing those harmonies is different than being in a rock band where you can kind of just you can kind of get close where you got to nail it to sound good in a bluegrass setting because there's not
Yeah.
much, there's not a wall of amps to hide behind. So
No, no.
yeah, it's a
Just
good
you.
question. I think it's a work in progress. I think naturally from playing in the bands and the style of music I grew up in, there is a little bit more of a rock element or like maybe years of too many late nights. I just have a natural rasp to my voice, so I
Yeah.
try to sing it as pure and clean as I can.
No, it sounds great. I love it. I love it.
Thanks, man.
So, well, Brian, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you the best of luck with the release. I'll link all those links below, and I
Thanks,
look forward to
Brian.
talking to you again, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, love your page, love your art, and happy to be finally connected. And thanks to everyone listening. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Peace.
Thanks, man. See ya. Bye bye.